Bleh.
So Russell came into the group the other day. He's a mod there, and he came into the group with Where Eagles Dare and had a very interesting theory. And you know what was funny? I think I had one or two things where I had not conflicting interpretations, but I wanted to I forgot what they are though. I wish I had written them down, where like I saw it kind of slightly differently and I wanted to tell you about it, but I was like, wait, I'll just save it for the show. But now I can't remember what it was, but maybe I'll be reminded once we look at it. So we're going to go right here now. And do you have it in front of you, or will you be able to see it if I share the screen? Will you be able to read your writing? Because I'm putting your post up here. Can everybody see that post?
I would need a microscope to read that from here.
All right. Do you just want to talk about it? You just talk about it, and then I'll read from here. I can see it very well. Go ahead. Launch into it.
I can just, basically, hey, we all love analyzing these lyrics, I think, and there was a post in another group, and I'm pretty sure she's a member of this group too. And I don't remember the exact words, but basically she was lamenting, or well, not even really lamenting, but basically just saying, hey, I'm not embarrassed to say I don't know what this song is about. And it got me to thinking, I thought about it years ago, like most of the songs, let me back up a little bit and say that Where Eagles Dare was the second Misfits song that I ever heard. And so, that one, along with American Nightmare, that was the first one. It was kind of a special place, with me, with those songs. So, that's one of the oldest ones that I tried to figure out all the lyrics for. And just basically, what, not only what is he saying, but what is he saying? What's the story here? So anyway, Denise's comment sort of sparked me into rethinking that. And the first thought was like, oh, hey, we walk the streets at night, we go where eagles dare. Well, that sounds like, like tough guys, maybe, like roughnecks or something, and Glenn grew up in Jersey, I'm sure there's, a lot of rough guys, prowling around at night, looking for a fight or whatever. And to back up also the title, I'd heard that phrase years before I ever knew about the Misfits. I don't know, I read it somewhere or whatever. So I didn't associate that with the movie at the time. Of course, later on, I did hear that as being some idea that it was based on the movie, but I checked that out, and that's, that there was nothing to me that tied into that. But, going on in the lyrics, what is with jaded eyes and features, okay, so here's these guys, they're just standing around, they're bored, they're jaded, they don't really care about anything. But then you move on basically deeper into the thing, and where that sort of theory or that avenue petered out was, her mouth of germicide. Okay, so how does that fit in with like rough guys, fighting on the street? So, one thing led to another. I'm thinking, well, sex and prostitution have come up, in these songs before. Maybe that's it. I'll walk back to the beginning. Yep. We walk the streets at night. We go where eagles dare. That's, a seedy side of town, and we're walking the streets. Okay, well, that sort of fits, but to get into the meat of it, the thing that really changed the game for me, a few days ago, whenever that was that line about the hat pin in your retina. So I thought, Glenn, if he's inspired by a movie or a line in a movie, perhaps he's going to tweak that, and make it, a little more interesting, or maybe he's going to change a word so that the cadence of that line is going to fit the song. It's going to roll off the tongue better. I don't know. So I thought, what, in simplest terms, what is it? Well, did a prostitute get stabbed in the eye with a hat pin? I Googled something to that effect, and one of the first things that comes up is this review or synopsis of a Hammer film, The Hands of the Ripper. So there's the line in this review that talks about the prostitute getting stabbed in the eye. Like, all right, man, I'm gonna have to check this out. Luckily, it's on Amazon. Fired the thing up and watched it all the way through. Yeah, there's prostitution in it. There's some bad parts of town. There's a lady getting stabbed in the eye with a hat pin. It's like, so, that didn't just immediately go, well, it's got to be about this movie. But the things just sort of fit. So I'm not saying that this is the absolute and this is it. I'm just saying, hey, this all seems to fit. Hey, let's talk about it. Let's knock it around. Somebody bring something else to the table. I think it's likely that it might have been at least a partial inspiration. The movie came out in 1971, so Glenn would have been in 10th grade. I don't know.
I thought it was a really good interpretation. Here's what I want to add to the conversation. Before I add it, let's just see what Pete's saying in the comments. Pete says, "Where Eagles Dare reminds me of high school kids raising hell with the line, we jetted out of bleachers." But Glenn could have tied in a bunch of stuff. That was exactly what I was going to say, actually. Not the first part, the second part. I think Glenn is tying in a bunch of stuff. He's juxtaposing, which once again, we know he does this. He does this with what I've spoken about more than anything. We've talked about freaking, what's it called? Horror business is a complete juxtaposition, intersectionality of the movie Psycho with what happened with Nancy Spungen and Sid Vicious. And so perhaps Glenn is taking a bunch of different things. Where Eagles There is the movie title, right? The Hands of the Ripper it's called Hands of the Ripper?
Yes.
Hands of the Ripper, yes. Hands of the Ripper from is he's getting some ideas there, and that clearly this movie he's writing about prostitution in some way, shape, or form in this film. I'm convinced of that. I never ever thought, in all my years of listening to Misfits lyrics or Misfits songs, never thought to make the connection that Where Eagles Dare, he's singing about prostitution in some way, shape, or form, inspired by this movie. So this is a deep cut. I mean, this was really something else for you to discover this, I thought, in my opinion. And then once again, he's doing this super, like, this is poetry is what he's writing. Like, yeah, you could say that every song is poetry, but like, this feels like poetry by way of Bukowski, which, as we've talked about ad nauseum, the Bukowski influence, this feels like him trying to, write Bukowski. And hold on, I just want to get to a couple other comments. Maybe the hat pin in the retina is a Clockwork Orange reference. Pete, maybe, honestly, I think Rusty has it, man. I think Rusty nailed it with this. I think that's exactly what it is, man. He was probably watching Hand of the Ripper and saw that scene, a hat pin in your retina unbosoms all your past. What does it mean, unbosoms all your past? And here's the thing that I always have to do. I have to look shit up. I like to look things up to determine what something means. So I looked up the word germicide. What does germicide actually mean? It's an agent for killing germs or microorganisms. So what he's talking about there, he's talking about a mouth of germicide, a mouthful of mouthwash, probably to wash out some, bodily fluids, stuff, Stay Puft Marshmallow stuff. You know what I mean? So let's go back to what you wrote here. So you write, picking up losers, Johns. I think that blew my mind too. That's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it if you're conforming it to the movie Hands of the Ripper. See, I think that line really I think what Peter was saying resonates more with that line. I do think he's talking about high school when he mentions bleachers or whatever. picking up losers, picking up misfits, picking up outcasts of society. Yes, it could be John's because that does fit with the movie. But as I stated before, this is my rebuttal to Rusty's theory. The idea that it is a smattering of a bunch of different things, and therefore that might be one of the elements. Omelet of Disease, without a doubt. I mean, dude, you so nailed this, without a doubt. Omelet of Disease is a prostitute's parts, man. Absolutely. That is what it is, man. An omelet of disease. And what a way, what words to use. An omelet of disease. It sounds disgusting. Disgusting. An omelet of disease. Mouth of germicide. And then seducing all your glands. I think it's seducing all your glands. And you say if the former, alcohol affects your glands, impairing judgment. If the latter, we're talking oral pleasure. That's what I think. It's the latter. That's what it is. An omelet of disease, seducing all your glands. And then what does it mean, unbosoms all your past? What does unbosom mean? Like when you think about it?
Reveal it, to let it out, to share it. Yeah.
Let's see what.
So what I was thinking there was the
go ahead.
In the movie, and again, I'm just, that's the starting point, obviously, but in the movie, when she stabs the prostitute in the eye, that's when her guardian, this guy that's taking care of her since the Ripper's dead, he realizes what she's done and she's responsible for these other murders, and then finds out that she is the daughter of the Ripper. So to me, that was kind of like, okay, now the hat pin in the retina led to the unbosoming of her past. So it could have been something like that.
Okay, so here's what it says, the actual definition. I know the screen is tiny for you, Rusty, so I'm going to just read it.
Yeah.
To disclose a confidence or a secret, or to disclose one's thoughts, feelings, or the like, especially in confidence. So a hat pin in your retina unbosoming your past, the hat pin in the retina of your eye is causing you to, the pain of that is causing you to connect with your past, which might also be a history of pain, which also might be, if, you're a sex worker on the street, perhaps you are in fact come from, not all sex workers are like that, but you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So I think that's pretty interesting. And here's the most important part of all, and then we'll go to some comments for a minute. What is I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch? You better think about it, baby. Is that, whose perspective is that? Where is that coming from? I'd love to hear your thoughts, Rusty. Anybody's thoughts?
I don't know. Like maybe there was some exchange. Again, if we're going back with the prostitution thing, some exchange. Maybe the prostitute says something to him, and he's kind of refuting that. Hey, I'm not that. I'm not this thing that you say I am. But
right.
It seems like, I think I had a conversation with Robbie about this, and I don't remember what he said, but it seemed like it was just kind of like a thing, like, hey, blah, 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 I'm not that,
Who is saying I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch? There's so often in Glenn Danzig songs where he writes from an I statement. And so who is the person? Is it the John who's saying I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so let's go back to the John thing for a minute. We walk the streets at night, prostitutes, with jaded eyes and features, bored from working, picking up losers, Johns, where eagles dare, somewhere that lesser men or weaker folks wouldn't go, a bad hood. But here's the thing. When I think about where eagles dare, it's from the POV of the loser, of the John, thinking that they soar in the clouds, that they go where eagles dare. And essentially what it might come down to is that where eagles dare is about the assault of a prostitute by shoving a hat pin in her retina. Or how about this? Maybe it's a POV of Jack the Ripper. Maybe because like the movie. So Jack the Ripper is getting picked up by a prostitute who has an omelet of disease, a mouthful of germicide, and then takes a hat pin and shoves it into her retina to unbosom all her past. And he's saying all along the way, I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. You better think about it, baby, because it's some trip that he has with women that he's targeting, prostitutes. Again,
Yeah.
guys, we are so just like, man, this is just, we're making this up. Like, this is just not real. But like, we're just trying to interpret. That's it. That's literally it. I have no idea if any of this makes any sense, but perhaps this song is being sung from the point of view of Jack the Ripper in that kind of way. What do you think?
I'm liking that theory.
Okay. Let's see what people say. Jorge is back from last week. Welcome back, Jorge. It's the prostitute customer. Okay. So you dig that. I ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. Could have been a personal life experience that Glenn tied in. Absolutely. As Glenn is sort of like giving himself the avatar of in the situation. Maybe he's mad at an ex-girlfriend and, thinks of her as like, a prostitute or something. And, taking out his frustrations and angers in that kind of way. And then identifying that he ain't no goddamn son of a bitch. He does go where eagles dare. They do pick up every loser, with jaded eyes and features you think we really care. I do know, yes, Where Eagles Dare was a killer war movie. Right. That's true. So maybe he's tying that in. That's obviously, or perhaps as a movie. There you go. What is the plot of Where Eagles Dare? Real quick, Rusty.
These guys, these British soldiers are impersonating some German soldiers to, it was very convoluted, but basically they're just trying to infiltrate a stronghold up in the mountains, and they do it, and that's really it. I mean, for whatever reason that they were actually there, this is very detailed and very convoluted reason that they were there, but that was the plot. They impersonate, the plot was actually to uncover this ring of what do they call, like, not double spies, double agents. Yeah. Okay,
that's
what it was.
Okay, yeah. That's cool. Maybe they stopped along the way and got some German prostitutes. I don't know. No,
there was a scene in a brew house, or whatever you call the bar, but I don't think there were prostitutes per se. But I get it. You're just you're picking there. But yeah, it just nothing really rang true with that for me, for against the movie. So I don't know.